The gun was already up when the door swung open. Clara's arm did not shake. Her finger sat still on the trigger, and the metal was pointed straight at Thomas Reed's head. He was cutting bread at his table. He looked up slow, like he had all the time in the world, and set the knife down without being told. "Careful with that," he said. "It looks loaded." "It is loaded," Clara said. Two ranch hands stood by the fireplace. They froze, plates in hand, mouths open. One of them let out a small laugh, the kind a man makes when he does not know what else to do with his fear. "She's bluffing," he whispered to the other. Clara heard him. She turned the pistol just an inch toward the wall and pulled the trigger. The shot cracked through the room like thunder. Wood splinters flew from the beam above the fireplace. Dust fell from the ceiling like gray snow. Nobody laughed after that. The two ranch hands dropped to the floor, hands over their heads. Thomas did not move. He only looked at her calm, like he was studying a storm instead of running from one. "You've got their attention now," he said quietly. "I don't want their attention," Clara said. "I want the truth." Her boots were caked in 3 days of dried mud. Her coat was torn at the shoulder from riding through brush in the dark. Her father's pocket watch hung around her neck, stopped forever at the hour he died. "Where were you," she asked, "the night my farm burned?" Thomas's eyes did not blink. "Right here," he said, "and I have been asking myself the same question ever since." The fire cracked in the hearth. Outside, wind pushed against the shutters like something trying to get in. Clara's hand tightened on the gun again. "Then start talking," she said, "before I stop believing you're worth the bullet." The gunshot still echoed in the room. Smoke curled up from the wall where the bullet had struck. Clara's arm had not lowered, but her hand had begun to shake again, small and quiet, like a leaf caught in a slow wind. "You have 5 seconds," she said, "and then I stop asking nice." Thomas did not flinch. He stood up from his chair, slow, palms open, and stepped toward her instead of away. The two ranch hands on the floor stared at him like he had lost his mind. "Boss, don't," one of them started. "Quiet," Thomas said, not looking at him. He took another step. The gun was close enough now that Clara could have felt the heat of his breath if the room had not been so cold with fear. "You want to shoot me, Thomas said. "But do it knowing the truth first, not guessing at it." "I know enough," Clara said. Her voice cracked in the middle like ice breaking on a pond. "You know your father is dead," Thomas said gently. "You know your home is ash. You don't know why. That's not knowing, that's just hurting." Clara's jaw tightened. Her eyes burned, but no tears fell, not yet. "Stay," Thomas said. "One night, eat something, let me talk. If you still want to pull that trigger tomorrow, I won't stop you." "Why would you offer that?" she asked. "You could run, you could call for help." "Because I buried a wife," Thomas said, "and a son. I know what that gun feels like in your hand better than you think." The room went silent. Even the fire seemed to hold its breath. Clara's arm lowered an inch, then another. "One night," she said, "that's all you get." Thomas nodded slowly. "That's all I need." The fire had burned low, down to orange coals that glowed like tired eyes in the dark. Clara sat across from Thomas, the pistol still in her lap, but her finger was off the trigger now. That alone felt like a small mountain moved. "Talk," she said, "before I change my mind." Thomas rubbed his hands together like a man about to walk into cold water. "The men who burned your farm used to work the Hallen mine," he said. "Cruel place, cruel owner. When the mine dried up, he threw them out with nothing. Some turned to raiding instead of starving." "That doesn't explain where you were," Clara said sharply. "I'm getting there," Thomas leaned forward. "I heard whispers 3 days before it happened. Men talking too quiet in town, buying too many bullets. I didn't know which farm. I swear that on my son's grave." Clara's hand tightened around the gun again, but she did not raise it. "I rode out that night," Thomas continued, "warning every house I could reach. The storm hit hard. Roads turned to mud rivers. My horse went lame 2 miles from your place." He paused and his voice dropped lower. "I walked the rest. I was too late by maybe 20 minutes." The room was silent, except for the coals popping softly in the fireplace. 20 minutes, Clara whispered. Her eyes filled, finally, after 3 dry days of riding and rage. "I carry that," Thomas said. "Every night. Ask anyone in town. I buried 3 good men trying to stop this. Your father was almost a fourth I saved, not the one I lost." Clara looked down at the gun in her lap like she was seeing it for the first time. "I came here to kill you," she said quietly. "I know," Thomas said. "I don't know what I came here to do now." Thomas didn't answer right away. He just let the fire crackle between them, patient as stone, giving her the silence she needed to breathe. Weeks had passed since that first night by the fire. Clara stood in the barn now, sleeves rolled up, teaching a young colt to trust the rope in her hand. Her palms were rough with new calluses. Her father's pocket watch still hung around her neck, but it no longer felt like a wound. It felt like a promise. "Easy," she whispered to the colt. "Nobody here wants to hurt you." Thomas watched from the doorway, arms crossed, a small smile on his face. "You've got away with him," he said. "Better than I ever did." "He was scared," Clara said. "Scared things just need someone to stay." The words hung between them, heavier than she meant them to be. That evening the sun dropped low and turned the sky the color of fire and honey. Clara found Thomas on the porch, the same porch where she once stood with a loaded gun and a broken heart. She sat down beside him this time. No weapon, no anger, just tired hands and a steady breath. "I almost killed you," she said, "that first night." "I know," Thomas said. "Why did you let me stay?" Thomas looked out at the land, gold and endless in the fading light. "Because anger looks like strength," he said, "but it's usually just pain wearing a hard face. I've worn that face before. I knew what was underneath yours." Clara touched the watch at her neck. The one stopped forever at the hour her father died. For the first time, she did not feel the hour as an ending. "I don't hate this place anymore," she said quietly. "I don't hate you." "That's a start," Thomas said. The wind moved soft across the porch, carrying dust and dry grass. But it felt different now, not like danger, but like something settling into place. Clara looked at the horizon, and for the first time since the fire took her home, she let herself imagine a tomorrow. Not one built on revenge, one built on staying.